Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Universal Monsters Ultimate Dracula. This is the Carafax Abbey version. This is going to be an all black and white version, but it's different from the regular release. I'd anticipate them making a color version of this in the future, but we'll see. This is Dracula, played by Bela Lugosi. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, a nightmare of horror, Dracula, Ultimate Count Dracula. Here he is on the front, getting ready to bite his victim. One side of the package, here's Dracula with his top hat, Universal Monsters, Neca. Other side, here's Dracula with a different head, looks a little more angry. No hat, I don't think. Back side, you can see a bunch of different accessories, a bunch of different display options. This is one of Neca's Ultimate figures. Window box packaging, you can hear the Velcro. On the inside, here's Dracula posed up, cape, top hat, cane, and here he is in the package. Bunch of accessories. Looks like some of my hands have fallen to the bottom. I got this figure from Toy, Buzz, and Fizz in Plainfield, Indiana here. They get their Neca figures really quick. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that I have this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand for the bat, a bat, a removable cape, 5 alternate hands, totaling 7 interchangeable hands, a total of 3 heads, and a top hat. Now initially, I thought maybe they would release a color version in the future, and a black and white version of the regular Dracula, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. It looks like they made it so some of these parts are interchangeable with the original release, and that's actually pretty cool. The top hat, the gloved hands. Now, the parts from the original Dracula will not be interchangeable with this guy, as they're in color, and it just wouldn't work with the black and white. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his face here, looks pretty good. He's serious, he's stern, done in black and white. He's got that signature point in his hair. I think the face sculpt looks very nice. Definitely looks like Bela Lugosi. As we go further down, he's got the sort of stopwatch around. You can see his pocket handkerchief, bow tie. Looks like we have single jointed elbows, single jointed knees, dress pants, a little stripe down the side. Nice detailing, got the ring on the finger there. And the little flap for his coat. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. Now I thought something was missing, so I double checked the packaging, and nothing was in there. So I went online and realized this guy's missing the cane. It had actually fallen completely out of the clamshell and was in the inside of the cardboard box. A small thin cane. Should look pretty nice with him with his top hat on. And then here are all the accessories that came with the color version of Dracula. It's pretty cool that you can use these accessories from the black and white version to enhance your color version. He's got a total of 7 hands, 4 right hands, 3 left hands, and 2 of the hands have white gloves on them. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are the hands that have the white gloves on them. Left hand is open and relaxed. The right hand has a very small grip, should be able to hold his cape. And here he is with his next pair of hands. These are some menacing hands. He's in attack mode. He's hungry, ready to bite. And here's his next pair of hands. These are some normal hands. They should look good, relaxed at his sides. And he's got one more right hand. This one has a really small grip. It can be used to pinch his cape and wrap it around himself. And if you wanted to take the glove hands and use them on the color version of Dracula, it'll work just fine. Pretty cool to have some accessories to enhance the original version. But it's not worth the price if you simply want the top hat and the cane. And on second thought, looks like this gloved hand that I thought was used to pinch his cape, that's going to hold his cane. Now let's look at his heads. He has a total of 3 of them. First one is a normal expression, second one a smiling expression, and the third one an angry, vicious expression. Now each one of these heads has a neck piece and a head, and it has articulation between the two. So I found it very odd that the head would each have the neck pieces on it. You would think they would simply leave the neck attached to Dracula, and then I like to swap out the head parts. Here's his first head. This one has the normal expression. And here's his second head. This has the smiling face. And here's his third head. This one has the angry expression. He's on the prowl. Now for his top hat. It's a hat. It's black. It's got sort of a little stripe around the base there. Here's Dracula without the top hat. And here he is with a hat on. And just like the white gloves, if you want to use this top hat with the color version, it works just fine as well. Now let's look at his cape. This Dracula cape is one of the nicest capes I've ever held for an action figure. It's got hard plastic sort of clamp around his neck. Here's the back side of the cape. It extends quite a bit. And the inside is gray with this one. Here's Dracula with his cape attached. You can have it mostly shut. And then to all the way open and extended. And anything in between. Now, one annoying thing about his cape, it doesn't stay on that good. If you can get it just right, it'll stay on. But if not, it'll fall off so easily. I'd recommend almost everybody heat this thing up, bend it shut a little bit, it'll stay on him a lot better. Now for his cane. It's a very thin cane, all black, except it's got a silver tip at the top. Here's Dracula holding that cane. He can hold his cane, or he can lean his weight on it, like so. Now let's look at his bat. And then it comes with a flight stand, so it can be in midair next to Dracula. I believe this is going to be him when he turns into a bat. Very large bat. Nice wingspan. See, it's got a little hole at the bottom to attach his display stand. Nice detailing, sculpt, and paint. Even though it's black and white, you can definitely see some differences there. Fangs, eyes, ears, some fur. Here's the bat, connected with the display stand. You can see it's hovering in the air. Here's Dracula with his top hat, cape, cane, and then both the bats from the black and white and the color version behind him. And here's the color version doing the exact same thing. The top hat, the cane, and the white glove hands are all interchangeable to enhance the color version of Dracula. You can also use the coffin from Neca's Dracula accessory set. The coffin is in color, but there's really not a lot of color. It'll blend in with the black and white Dracula just fine. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's staying at about 7.3 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Now the head can move independently of the neck. Does allow you to sort of tilt it a little bit, rotate it around. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out just about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. Single jointed elbow. It has more than a 90-degree bend, goes in pretty far with rotation. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. His torso seems to be one solid piece. He's got a ball joint at his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete as a splits. Ball joints. Leg can rotate independently of the ball. Legs go forward almost all the way. Back, not very much. Single jointed knee below that. Just about a 90-degree bend with rotation. Then his ankle here, forward and back. Tilt, rock, and a little bit of rotation. Here's Dracula, looking fierce and aggressive. He's on the hunt. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other NECA Universal Monsters figures. Here's the black and white version of Dracula next to the color version. They are 100% the same figure, except a different paint job. Yes, the accessories are different. I could potentially see them in the future making a black and white version of the regular Dracula, but I don't think they will ever make a color version of the Carafax Abbey version. His accessories would potentially work for both a regular black and white, and a color version of the original Dracula. Here's Dracula, next to the black and white version of Frankenstein. And of course, I did get all three variations of Frankenstein: color, black and white, and glow in the dark. And here he is, next to the black and white Wolfman. And of course, I also have all three versions of Wolfman: color, black and white, and glow in the dark. Here's Dracula, next to the black and white mummy figure. And like the others, I have the color, black and white, and glow in the dark versions of the mummy. Here's Dracula, next to the Invisible Man. So far, they've only made a color version of him. I do anticipate a black and white version in the future. Here are all four of the black and white versions of Neca's Universal Monster figures: Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy. Now let's check them out, next to the Neca Universal Monsters dioramas. Here's Dracula, next to Dracula's coffin. And here he is, next to the Mummy's sarcophagus. Then, next to Frankenstein's lab table. Here's Dracula, next to a DST or Diamond Select Toys mummy and sarcophagus display. Now let's check him out, next to some other vampire and Dracula figures. Here he is, next to an older Toy Biz Marvel Legends Dracula. Then, next to a McFarlane DC Multiverse Vampire Batman. Then, with the Batman Unlimited Mattel Vampire Batman. And here he is, next to a Toy Biz Marvel Legends Blade. Then, next to a custom Nocturna. She's a vampire-esque Batman rogue. Here's Dracula, next to both Darla and Drusilla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now let's check him out, next to some other more modern horror figures. Here he is, next to a NECA Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface. Then, next to some more horror icons: Pinhead from Hellraiser, Ghostface from Scream, Jigsaw from Saw, and then Candyman. These are all NECA figures except for Candyman. He's from McFarlane. And here he is, with the Pale Man, the Crooked Man, and then both versions of the Creep. And finally, next to some smaller horror icons: Chucky, Tiffany, Sam, and Annabelle. Here's Dracula, next to NECA's Universal Monsters crossover with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. And here, next to a NECA Alien and Predator. They're horror movies, although also sci-fi and action. Here's Dracula, next to some other black and white figures. Here he is, next to the whole gang of Diamond Select Clerks figures. Then, with some black and white DC Direct Batman figures. Then, with some McFarlane 1966 black and white Batman figures. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with even some more NECA figures. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Dracula, next to a bottle of Simply Limeade. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys. Then, with some McFarlane toys. And here he is, standing with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collector figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mayfix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a nice figure. Accessories are fantastic. That cape is amazing, although it could definitely clamp around his neck better. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. Articulation is a little bit limited, but it's sufficient. I love the fact that you have accessories that can enhance your other version of Dracula, so not only do you have the black and white Carafex Abbey version, but you enhance your color version. Personally, I prefer the color figures, as they just fit into my overall action figure world a little bit better, but with much respect for the black and white versions, as the original film was in black and white. If I had to rate this guy, I think I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10, which is probably less than he deserves, but I just personally prefer the color figures, so I took at least a point away for that. Figure is fantastic, though. If you have any interest, you will like it. You'll probably love it. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.